Right, welcome back. It's next project time. I haven't done a sci-fi kit for a long time, to be honest. I don't know if you can call the Batman kit sci-fi. I mean, the Judge Dredd Lawgiver, you can call that sci-fi, but I mean a proper kit. Anyway, I've been wanting to build this kit for a while. It's just at the time when it first came out, it was like 60-70 quid, and I thought, well, I'm going to wait for the price to come down. And eventually it did, so here's the next project. Well, I'm going over to my chest freezer. As you can see, it is the Star Trek 1/350 scale Klingon Bird of Prey 50th anniversary edition, because it's the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Box art's really nice, not bad. Going over to the other side, you can build it in 3 modes. You can build it in cruise, you can build it in battle, or you can build it in landing mode, as seen at the end of Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, when they go back to Vulcan, and during Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, where they go back to what you're seeing on Vulcan, where they fetch Spock, and then when they go back to 1985 San Francisco to rescue the whales. I'm going to be building it in cruise mode. So putting the box to one side, you can see that I've laid the sprues on top of my chest freezer. You've got the upper part of the hull there. No, is that the lower part? I'm not sure. I think it's either the upper or lower part of the hull. You've got various bits and bobs there. Front nose cannon area. You got the wings on the front there for the guns. I think that might be the upper or lower part of the hull. Then you got your 3 options for the rear radiator section, I think it's called. Let me just look on the plans. Yeah, starboard radiators. So you get 3 options for those. You get the cruise, the battle, and the landing mode, as you can see. And you've got the main wings themselves. The eagle pattern, as you could call it, is really well defined. It's nice and deep, nice and detailed. So I can't wait to paint those once it's primed. You get a bit more of the hull, I assume. And there's a loose piece that's come off a sprue. Then you got the rod and the base, as is included with all the AMT Star Trek kits. I had one on the Romulan Warbird. And you got your clear parts, you got your rear engine and your front cannon. And then these metal, what feel like metal pieces, I don't know if they're to the some kind of, actually I think they might be landing struts, to be honest, because you can land it, have it on its landing gear, so they might be landing struts, I'm not sure. I mean, there could be maybe some kind of collar for each part of that, for the radiators for each mode, I don't know, but they're made out of metal. Then you got your decal sheets, which is for radiators, possibly an emblem for the your ship identification markings, I'd assume, and possibly a family crest. I mean, unfortunately, there's no actual Klingon Empire motif for this, unfortunately. Instructions look fairly straightforward. You've got your radiators for whichever mode you want to build it to, as it says on the diagram. Turn the page over, so like I said, it looks fairly straightforward. To be honest, I'm hoping I can build all this, then primer it instead of priming it in bits. And you got it where it's on the stand, they've put it into cruise mode, but like I said, it can be either cruise mode or attack mode, and on the landing gear for landing mode. But not too bad. Just to let you know, this kit cost $34.99. My son bought it me for Christmas, so I've had it like what, 8 months, almost 8 months now. Well, anyway, there's a little bit of a out of box review. It's time to get cracking on with the Bird of Prey. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. Work has started on my Bird of Prey. You see all the bits that I've put together. Now I've got my radiator baffles, as you can see. Like I said, there's 3 options, one for cruise, one for battle and one for landing. I've gone with cruise. You can see that I've written the numbers on each part, so I know which ones to put together. So you've got the 2 side walls there, that one there and that one there. And then I've glued it all together, and then I've written P for port. Same again for the starboard one, written the numbers down, glued the 2 walls onto this radiator thing, and an S for starboard, because as you can see in the plans, pretty much it says port and starboard. Every stage of the instruction booklet says port and starboard. You can see that I've put the guns together. So you've got the main section with the gun and this wall here, and then that section is another plate that you glue in, and as you can see I've put the tape on to hold it all together, and I've put S for starboard and P for port. Each part of the wings are together now. The wings come in 2 halves. Basically there's a couple of pins round here that you have to glue in, and then basically line up the edges, and as you can see I've used the tape to hold them together. I'll probably have some seam issues to deal with, that's not going to be much of a problem, and I've marked it S for starboard and P for port. And then you've got these little plates here, 2 pieces. You've got this main bit here on the top there, and then you'll have this square section, and you can see there's a little gap there and a gap there. It's like a little wall. You just line them up and line the squared up and glue them together. Again, S for starboard and P for port. So basically, like I said, the guns, the baffles, that little bit, then that little plate I've just showed you, and each part of the wing, port and starboard, that's all ready. Going to the underneath of the hull, you can see that I've had to glue a plate on there and glue one underneath, which is number 43, as you can see there. You glue number 43 in first. This will be part of the cruise and battle mode. As you can see, just glue that in from the inside, and then you've got this plate with like a C shape there, like a Microsoft. Remember the Microsoft points? It's like a C shape. So basically what you do, because it was a bit tight round there, I pushed it in at an angle so it would go around that block there, and then ran my glue round and then pushed it in an angle and pushed down. Now if you're building this in landing mode, all this will be open. You'll have like an open landing bay door, so you'll have a couple of extra pieces, and I think there's some holes underneath here. Remember those metal pieces that I thought might have been for the baffles for each mode? They're not, the landing gear struts. So I think you glue those into the little holes underneath this plate, and then you'll have an open landing bay door instead of a shut landing plate like I've got here for cruise and battle mode. But not bad progress so far, fairly quickly. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. Work continues on the bird of prey, and as you can see I'm working on the upper hull section. I've put these 2 panels in, number 9 and number 10. As per the plans, it tells you to put number 9 and number 10 in first, and then number 3 and number 4, which are the hull panels that go in on top of number 9 and number 10. So 9 and 10 go in first, leave those to dry, and then you got the panels which go from all the way there, all the way around on top of the lower panels, and all the way down there. As you can see the rib section was on the outside. Now basically it was very, very difficult to get this to glue in to where I had to glue it down, so I had to use tape. I ran the glue first, and then as I was pushing it into place I put the tape on to hold it into place. But you can see there that that's slightly raised. It should be flat, as you can see. That's slightly raised, it hasn't glued 100%, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to probably slightly sand those lips that are sticking out, so that's going to be flat, because when I put this on, at the moment there's a gap issue, so I'm going to have to sand those down slightly. Very difficult with these panels, but I managed to get there in the end. It's not 100%, but like I said, with a bit of sanding that should be okay. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. A bit more work on the Klingon bird of prey. You can see that I've glued the upper and lower halves of the hull together. But if you remember the issue that I had when I glued these side panels in that go around the bend, is it there? Then this section here was slightly higher than that section, so I sanded those down level, both sides. But as you can see, even though I've glued this all together and held it down with the tape because I couldn't use my clamps, I pulled the tape as hard, as tight as I could. You can see there's some slight gap issues. But to be honest, when the primer's on and all this is painted, I don't think you're going to see those, to be honest. And this side as well. See slight gap issues, but nothing too major. But my major issue is around the back here. As you can see on that side, there's a massive gap. I've definitely got to fill that in. And there's a gap on there as well, and that's got to be filled in as well. Basically what I did with the tape is I went round the neck, went round the body, and 2 long strips of tape around this rear section here for the exhaust, obviously, and then just left it dry for 24 hours. But it hasn't dried too bad, apart from those gap issues. But like I said, these two I've definitely got to fill in. But that's where I'm sitting at the moment. Stay with me. Right, work continues on the bird of prey. You can see on both wings I've now put the baffles in. Now on each corner of the baffle there's a pin, and then in the actual wing itself there's a little pinhole, so you just line them up, but I had to widen them slightly with my push drill. So once they're widened them, I then pushed it down, ran the glue around the inside of the baffle, pushed it down and let gravity hold it down because I couldn't use my clamps or any tape or anything. Then you got this panel assembly here. You glue that into an angle. As you can see, you got the angle there. It's just like a little channel, flat surface, and you just run the glue on the channel, glue that panel into place on both sides, as you can see. Again, let gravity hold it down. Then I did my radiator shield. You got number 19 and number 20, and then you got the little dinky panels, which is 21 and 22, I believe. But when I was gluing them in, they kept trying to pop back because there's nothing to hold them up. So as you can see, they kept trying to pop down. So I just put a bit of white tack in there just to hold them into place, to stop them coming down at the back. I haven't took those out yet, but those are lovely and dry. Then you got the filling I did where the panels didn't meet 100%. Well, the panels, the top and bottom half of the hull. So you can see I've sanded all that down. But as I've wiped all the dust off from the filler, you can see on this channel here just above my thumb, there's a bloody gap. I didn't notice that at first because of this panel here that goes all the way around. Like I said, didn't mean 100%, so I've now got to fill those in as well, and on that channel there as well. I don't know if you can just make a gap out there. I thought there might have been another piece, like a cap that actually goes on top of that, but it isn't. So I've got to fill those in and sand them down and trying to make them look like the actual bits in the channel. But not looking too bad so far. I'm getting there. Stay with me.